hit you with the matchups of the week. We got all four of our participants, and so that's what we're going to do is discuss both their matchups.
It's funny because two of the Higgins I have on my team are beneficiaries of playing the person that decided to drop them in my opponent.
His go-to strategies.
I don't play that. I don't care. It's not messing with me. He can do all the mental things he want to do. That ain't working. Okay? He can sit there. He can bench Patrick Mahomes. He can leave him empty until Sunday. Whenever they play, right before they play, that don't mess with me. I don't care. I'm not worried about his team. My team is set. I'm Gucci.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is week 15, and you know what that means within the Indecision Cave. We are down to our final four. And as you can see, the four participants in our playoffs are here. We got Ashton, the number 2 seed.
Number 3.
No, number 3.
Number 3, but the second best record in the league. My whole ass cousin decided to take number 2 spot, even though he has the lesser record team. So holla at him, because Justin's a hoe as well. Being in my team.
We're gonna holla at him. We're gonna go to Mahan. Thanks for joining us, man. How are you?
Doing all right.
There we go. We have Rashawn, who's been joining us the last few weeks. Rax, how are you, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just glad to be here again, you know.
Rashawn, quick question. Do you care more about this semifinal matchup or the Saturday matchup where your team takes on the NFC North champ?
See, I knew that was coming. I really don't care about that game. I feel like the semifinals round is more important because, you know, one more game to the championship game. So I'm not really worried about the Panthers playing the Packers and losing because that's all we've been doing lately. So, whatever.
I understand. And we save the best for last with the number 1 overall seed in the Indecision Cave. Just Blaze, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, and I just want to remind the good people out there that you can raise your kids off of Jada Kiss lyrics.
Wow.
Respectfully.
Thank you for that. That's a Justin Jewel if I've ever heard one. Joe, I did not mean to overlook you, sir. Just wanted to get people acclimated to our playoff participants. You and I are on the outside looking in, man.
Yeah, it's all good. Just I'm rooting on my customer twice. Trader Joe's traded Chris Carson and Will Fuller to the Ace-led team. What's your team name again?
Do we need to
you could just hashtag Deli meat.
Okay. Anyway, I'm rooting his team on because I traded him 2 of my players, so I'm excited for him.
That's like the weirdest reason to root somebody on, but okay, Joe, you can have it.
I don't want him to regret his trade with me.
Nope.
Look, man, people voted for Trump, so I'm not tripping over his reasons.
So you're saying Joe is a Trump supporter?
No, he's not. What he is saying, what we are going to say is that this week's format is a little bit different than what we've done the past few weeks. As you know, we've been doing the start and sit segments. We're going to go back to the early season flow where we hit you with the matchups of the week. We got all 4 of our participants, and so that's what we're going to do is discuss both their matchups. We're going to go with the 2 versus 3 matchup first, and we're going to start with the underdog. Ashton, as you look at Mahan's team this week, why are you going to be victorious and square off with Justin in the finals?
Well, I just want to make one thing straight. And when you say underdog, I need you to specify what the underdog is if I have the better record and have scored more points in the league than the person I am playing. But in this particular matchup, I am projected to score less than my opponent. Also my cousin. No, I'm not going to talk about that. I mean, personally speaking, I'm dealing with a little bit of adversity again this year. I traded for Will Fuller. He has been suspended for the year because he wanted to take drugs that was prohibited by the National Football League. So I don't have him on my roster. Well, he's on my roster, but I can't play him. And last week, I saw my 3rd running back leave the game after 2 rush attempts due to a alleged turf toe. And he's probably not going to play this week. So I'm without Antonio Gibson. And another one of my previously set it and forget it receivers, and T. Higgins, lost his quarterback in Joe Burrow. And now he's one of those guys where I have to distinguish what the matchup is in order to play him. So I'm confident in my team, but it's a little bit harder because I have to deal with some more bench players and trusting them. So you'll probably see the metrics or the stats of what my team looks like. And so I'm confident in Russell Wilson, even though he plays Washington. Dalvin Cook plays the Bears. They're a tough defense, but Dalvin Cook has been the most steady player on my team. Adam Thielen also plays Chicago, but I trust him to at least get some looks in the red zone. So it's looking pretty good. And Cooper Kupp plays the Jets, and we all know about when you play the Jets what happens. So TJ Hawkinson, he's just been looking really, really good. So I love that late season trade because Noah Fant didn't practice today, and he left last week's game. So I would have been hurting there as well. And Zach Ertz has been hurting me since the beginning of the season. And so where I come in is I have my last two flex spots with Nelson Aguilar and Rashard Hollywood Higgins. And it's funny because two of the Higgins I have on my team are beneficiaries of playing the person that decided to drop them in my opponent. So Rashard Higgins and T. Higgins were once members of the Mahondolorians, and now they are proud members of Deli Meat. And he gets to go against one of them, maybe both of them this week. It would be beautiful for them to play him and give him the loss that sends him home. We'll just have to see how T. Higgins looks. But Nelson Aguilar's been balling the past couple of weeks, and I'm hoping that he can continue that streak. And honestly, he's the player that will probably make or break my game this week. So I'm just rooting for Nelson, former Eagle guy. It's just come to see, like, every other year he does well, right? Rookie year did trash, second year did great, last year did trash, this year he's doing great again. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
And just for the fans at home, the last time these two teams squared off, Ashton did win in a convincing fashion, 151.7 to 120.5, a 31-point drubbing back in week 11. Mahan, we're coming to you. We're glad to have you back, man. And after last week's crazy Derrick Henry showing, you must feel pretty confident heading into this matchup. Henry, and what else has you feeling like you can defeat your older cousin and make it to face Justin in the finals?
Well, let's see. Derrick Henry, I think, is worth mentioning or reiterating upon because this week he faces among the worst, if not the worst, defenses in the league in the Detroit Lions. I think they've allowed at least 30 points the last 3 games. And in terms of fantasy point output, they haven't had above 8 points on any given week all season. So I'm expecting a similar performance to last week from Derrick Henry. Josh Jacobs, he should be back fully healthy. Last week was kind of like a middle of the road week, but I'm hoping that he does good. Chris Godwin, Pinky seems to be doing all right. He's going up against the Falcons defense, so really banking on him to do well. And I mean, DeAndre Swift, he was back last week. He should be fully healthy now. Like, I feel like I have my squad at least. I mean, aside from Devontae Parker, anybody that was, hurt on my squad seems to be trending in the right direction, at least that I plan on starting. So, I think it's going to be another week. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. I have a pretty versatile squad that I feel like I can throw anybody in my lineup, and in any given week, they can give me at least 10 points. It's been less the case over the last couple weeks, but, it's all good because we have a solid foundation to work off of. And losing Rashard Higgins, hasn't been great for me. Losing T. Higgins hasn't been great for me, but I do have Kekee Coutee, and I think it's also worth mentioning that he's going up against a team he put up 20 points against the other week. So,
speaking of Kekee Coutee, one of the lines that we've stolen from you, Mahan, that you brought to the show is that if you have anyone better, I would start them, kind of thing. Something along that line. Now, Coutee playing in the Houston offense, he's averaged 9.5 points per game, projected to get you 10. It seems like you have some better options, or more consistent, with Jacoby Myers having been Cam Newton's favorite target all season, Jamison Crowder being Mr. Dependable for that weary Jets offense. Things can change, but is Coutee going to be in the lineup, or might we see a switch?
We can see anything, to be honest with you. You know, I'm constantly evaluating on a daily basis, making sure that I keep my opponent on his toes. So we'll have to see what happens.
Got it. Joe, I'm going to come to you just to see if you have any questions or any thoughts before we go around the horn and vote.
Actually, no questions. I just have my reasons for who I'm going to vote for.
Okay, so we'll start with you first then. Who are you leaning towards in this 2 versus 3 matchup?
So this is where I have to separate my feelings from what I actually project. Again, I'm rooting for our 2-time customer, Deli meat. But I do think Mahomes, his ceiling is a lot higher for 2 players. One, Derrick Henry, I think he's just going to demolish the Lions like we seen him do before. Like, that's not really hard to project. But I don't see anyone on Ace's team who can really do what Derrick Henry can do to a defense. And the other thing is Kyler Murray. He's facing our Eagles, and our secondary right now is banged up. And I think this is the week where I think he's projected to be fully healthy. So I think those two I can see them really carrying his squad. But again, Ace, I'm for you. I'm hoping you pull off this one.
Nah, it's a rough one, man. I can't even hold you.
It's a rough one. Rashawn, pretty much we already know that you have issues with Mahan calling your team the Auntie Anthony's. But as you look at this matchup, do you think he can pull it out, or do you think you're going to lean towards Ashton?
You know, after seeing Derrick Henry, go off the way he did last week, and going against the Lions, I want to lean towards, Auntie Anthony's team. But his team also can wet the bed like they did a few weeks ago against me to let me into the playoffs. Ashton team is an underdog, scary team like the Giants, because you never know what you get from Delvin Cook. You never know if he can go off against the Bears. It's a tough one. I would say that I would go with Ashton because that's my childhood friend, but I can also say I'm going with Mahan. I think I'm going to go with Ashton on this one. Deli's meat.
Deli's meat is terrible. Oh my God, Justin. Justin, who are you leaning towards in this 2 versus 3 battle?
Oh my goodness. So I'm not gonna say that guy's name. But just looking at the matchups with Ashton's team, he has a uphill battle. Pretty much, because I was looking at the Seahawks versus the Washington football team, and they may be giving Russell Wilson a lot of trouble in the backfield. On top of that, Russell hasn't been his dominant Russ Cook self against the NFC least, so that might be some trouble. We don't know what Chris Carson will actually do, because he's been kind of up and down, injuries plaguing him recently. It's kind of a dice roll throwing Nelson Aguilar in there, given that it is the Chargers, and they're covering nobody receiver-wise. But I do like the Browns to dominate against the Giants on Sunday night. I do like that defense to score some points against Daniel Jones. With Mahomes' team, what I've seen is his team has been fairly consistent over the season. He has a lot of good players. Darren Waller that can go off, Derrick Henry that can go off, given Kyler Murray struggles, but this may be one of those bounce back games. And then he got the Dolphins defense, which should prevail against New England on Sunday. So with all that said, I am a fan of the underdog, and I want all the smoke in the championship. So, Ashton, do what you're supposed to do.
Wow.
Oh, man, I hope so, man, because that's all I want.
First of
That's all I
all,
want.
we not. You know what? We're gonna wait until it's my turn, our segment, because you ain't just gonna sit there and talk about you going straight to the championship. Because we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that.
We like that kind of energy here, Rashawn. We like that. I'm gonna just round it out. I think I'm leaning towards Ashton, and just because his team seems a little bit more balanced and even. As I look at Mahomes' wide receiving core, it's like pretty scary to me. And this is a league that pretty much depends on wide receivers. I realize that Derrick Henry is the best fantasy running back, pretty much. So that's the huge X factor. But Chris Godwin is in an offense where everybody gets a share of the pie, and the Bucs haven't been particularly great the last few weeks. Devontae Parker scares me just because I still, as much as I love Tua, I'm not fully in on what the Dolphins are doing on offense in terms of who their number one option is or how they're going to put up the points. And I look at wide receiver as a huge position. I think Ashton's team is just much better there. Thielen's going to eat. Cooper Kupp is always involved. TJ Hawkinson is a target machine now. And Nelson Aguilar is pretty much the only, I guess he and Waller, but I think I'm leaning towards Ashton and Mahan. It's because I beat you this year, man. So, Ashton, good luck, and hopefully we see you in the finals.
Man, I hope so. It'd be lovely. It'd be lovely.
And it's all good, because if I beat Ashton, it's one step closer to Tony two-time.
And that would make you the first two-time champion. So that's one thing that we need to note is that on that side of the bracket, we have two guys that whoever wins will be going for their second championship in league history. And on the other side, we have two gentlemen who have not ever won a championship in league history.
Nice.
So it could play out. We could either have it's going to be a year of firsts, either the first person to win two titles or on the other side, someone to win for their first time. So we're very, very excited. We are going to take a commercial break. But when we come back, Rashawn has some things to get off his chest as the underdog 4 seed gets ready to face the 1 within the Indecision Cave. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to semifinal weekend within the Indecision Cave. And you've heard me say a few times that it was 2 versus 3 and the winner was facing Just Blaze. But Rashawn did not like that, and he has something to say about it. So, Rashawn, looking at your matchup, how the heck are you going to beat Justin this week, man?
Listen, first of all, I just want to address the disrespect. I don't appreciate it, okay? I don't appreciate it from you. I don't appreciate it from Justin, okay? Clawed my way back into the playoffs, and we had a fight, all right? I spoke to Travis Kelce. I spoke to the juice god, okay? He's the one who's supplying the juice for my team, all right? He done spoke to Keenan Allen. He spoke to DK. He spoke to Robbie and Deontay Johnson. They're going to come out and play. Justin may have the quarterback battle. He may have the running back battle, but my receivers and my tight ends are way better than his. So we're going to come out and we're going to ball out. Patrick Mahomes has been playing suspect lately, throwing interceptions. So he's going to come out and he's going to do that again against the Saints, all right? My only issue is Zeke, who hasn't been performing like Zeke of the past. But with Christian McCaffrey out, Mike Davis is going to step up like he did last week, and he's going to ball out against Ryan's Packers. I ain't say we're going to get the win, but he's going to ball out against Ryan's Packers. Everybody else is going to go off, and we're going to see we're going to see action in the championship, because that's how we do. The Auntie Anthony's is going to the championship. Forget Kickers Lives Matter. Forget Mahondolorians. I don't care what his team name is. We're going to the chip. We're seeing Ashton. We're seeing Deli's meet. So stand that.
Pause.
Strong.
No pause. No pause at all.
Man, wow, that was aggressive, Rashawn. And I mean, you're ready.
Yeah, I was trying to be calm. When I got the text message talking about we need you on the show, talk about the matchup, I was going to be calm. But the disrespect out the gate, talking about Just Blaze going to the championship. Like, nah, he got to come through me. He may have won the first matchup, but guess what? It's a different team. He supplied me with the weapons, and now these weapons is going to destroy him.
That's, Rashawn, I'm looking at your team, and you have 5 players who are top 10 in their position. I don't know if any team in our league can say that. Justin will end up having 4, but five studs on your roster, man. You definitely have a chance. As you look at Justin's current lineup and you see that he has none of his real starters in, does that mess with your mental at all? Justin has said that's one of his go-to strategies.
I don't play that. I don't play that. I don't care. It's not messing with me. He can do all the mental things he want to do. That ain't working on me. Okay. He can sit there. He can bench Patrick Mahomes. He can leave him empty until Sunday. Whenever they play, right before they play, that don't mess with me. I don't care. I'm not worried about his team. My team is set. I'm Gucci.
So you don't believe that he's gonna not start a tight end this week?
He's gonna put a tight end in. He's not stupid. He's gonna put a tight end in, even if it's whoever. But it doesn't matter because my tight end is gonna outplay his tight end. So.
Wow. Okay.
Got that.
Justin, we can understand Rashawn's enthusiasm, man. But as you look at your team, why is it clear that you are going to advance to your first ever Indecision Cave championship?
Well, first, I'm going to lead with love. So, Rashawn, welcome to the semifinals.
I don't want your love. I don't want your love. You already disrespected me. I don't want your love. Go on with why your team is going to win. I don't want your love. You disrespected me out the gate.
Look, man, truthfully, I'm just here to get these playoff wins. All that number one stuff was cool. It was nice. It was flashy. It was comfortable. But this is really what matters. So if I don't get this win, this whole season was a waste. So looking at Rashawn's team, like you said, he has 5 top 5 players in their position, which is cool. But I see some holes in his squad, as he alluded to. Zeke, we don't know what we're going to get from him. Robbie Anderson, touchdown dependent. And Deontay, he had a rough one last week. So I see his squad is beatable. I did see last week he put up 155. So I don't really expect him to repeat that performance. Like we saw earlier, Drew Brees was clear for football activities. I don't know if New Orleans is going to pull off something and put him in the game. So I hope you will have a backup plan for that. But outside of that, I'm going to just put in the best squad and we're just going to see what happens.
So, Justin, one thing that I did notice about your squad, aside from the mental advantage that you've already shown this week, you have one option at tight end on your roster, and it's the Chicago Bears tight end Cole Kmet. Are you confident in that decision?
Well, actually, I got 2 options because my other option was Jared Cook, just to balance out that Taysom Hill. So I'm going to see how I feel once Sunday comes and see what I put in. But for some strange reason, Cole Kmet has had some chemistry with Trubisky. He's been getting a lot of looks. 1 touchdown could change a lot of that. Minnesota's not too good on guarding tight ends, so that can definitely be an option.
There you have it. So Kamara, A.J. Brown, James Robinson, Terry McLaurin, Cam Akers, and the Washington defense will all likely be inserted into that lineup, which will make this a much more competitive game than the current line, which has Rashawn winning by 65 points. So we're going to go around the horn. Joe, we're going to start with you. Tell us who's going to win this matchup and why is it Justin?
Man, you made it hard for us to do the side-by-side comparison. We got to do some memorization here. I'll start off with Taysom Hill because I used to be the previous owner. What I don't like about the matchup is I think Patrick Mahomes is going to put a good game against the Saints. I don't care if they're the number 1 defense or number 2 after they face our Eagles or whatever they are. And I don't know if I trust Taysom Hill to be able to throw heavy once he's from behind. Like if it's a close game, I think he can mix it up with running the ball. But when he's really going to have to catch up from behind, I don't really trust him much as a thrower yet. We all got questions about Zeke. Matter of fact, this may not be as hard as I thought, to be honest. No disrespect, Rex. Don't get angry. No disrespect. But just what I'm projecting. Mike Davis, I used to be the previous owner. We saw he started off hot, and we saw him cool off. So we don't know what to expect from them. Yeah, and I think Cam Akers against the Jets, I think you're going to start him. I think that would be a good start. Anyone else worth mentioning? Nah, not really. I project Justin will win this matchup.
I like a lot of your thoughts, man. Mahan, we're coming to you next.
I gotta go with Justin. Reason being is like looking at some of the matchups, like Patrick Mahomes, like Joe said, I think he's gonna have a good game. Alvin Kamara has been the number one running back in fantasy all season. That momentum's definitely gonna continue. AJ Brown is just built different. And James Robinson, I think he'll be able to tough it out against Baltimore's defense. And on the subject of running backs, you have Cam Akers, who's going up against the Jets. You have Terry McLaurin, who's going up against the Seahawks. I think Justin just has too many favorable matchups in his lineup for Rex to overcome. Zeke's been suspect lately. Deontay Johnson, talented as he is, has been dropping damn near 10% of his targets season. I gotta go with Justin on this one. As much as I would love for Rax to advance to the championship so I could play him for the second time in the championship and get my redemption on the season, either way, I'm hoping for an all Anthony championship, but I gotta go with Justin.
Ashton, it's 2-0 so far, man. Are you leaning towards Rashawn or just Blaze?
Yo. In the pregame show conversation, I was saying Rashawn got the hottest team right now in fantasy football, and I think that continues. It's just hard, though, because Justin has very, very much quality, favorable matchups on his team. We haven't even talked about Jarvis Landry, who's been playing well of late and kind of seeing a good deal of targets, but Cam Akers, man, has been balling, and he goes up against the Jets, right? And we're talking about the Washington football team. You won't catch me. Having Scary Terry, and he looked scary last week. Also, if Alex Smith plays, I trust Scary Terry. If he doesn't, I don't trust Dwayne Haskins, and I trust that game to be a blowout for the Seahawks. And so, I don't know, man. It's hard. Alvin Kamara's been all right. Can I just say it's going to end in a tie, an annoying tie? Can I just say that?
No?
No?
Yeah.
All right,
You
cool.
think Alvin Kamara's been all right?
No.
Truthfully, because like with Taysom Hill, he had a decline, and then they've developed chemistry over the past 2 games.
Yeah, so I just don't, it's not like the Alvin Kamara that we expected at the beginning of the year when people were making fun of me for picking Delvin Cook over Alvin Kamara. Then Delvin Cook decided to ball out a couple of games to get me to the playoffs. So it all worked out.
Love to throw that in ever so often.
I had to throw it in.
Remind us, Ace. Remind us.
I had to throw it in there because I expected to draft Chris Carson, and Joe drafted him in the 3rd round, and it messed everything up. But anyways, this one I'm gonna go off emotion versus what I see here on the board, and I'm gonna go with my auntie Anthony. I think Deontay gets his revenge game against Cincinnati. Roby, as Rashawn liked to call him, I think he heats it up against Green Bay. Well, yeah. But Travis Kelce, DK Metcalf, and Keenan Allen, man. Those 3 guys alone can give you at least 25 points on a given night. And that's 75 points, and that's Justin's projected roster as he has his starters bench. But that's 3 players that can get you at least half your points. So I'm going to go with my auntie on this one. My auntie Anthony.
Much respect.
Like I've been saying, the winner is Justin. To me, this is clear. I can't bet against Pat Mahomes any week. And so something I wasn't even taking into consideration is that I just don't trust Taysom to be able to match him point for point. And so if the Chiefs get a big enough lead, I think the Saints have to throw the ball. I don't trust Taysom to do that. And I think if anything, he will check down to Kamara because that guy's nasty. And he happens to be on Justin's team also. So when you have Mahomes, when you have Kamara, it's just a tough matchup for Rashawn, and I'm going with the kicker lives matter this week.
But can I just say that, all right, he might have the edge on 4 positions, but everything else is just like the Seahawks play Washington, right? And if you get Dwayne Haskins, come on, really. Rashawn's tight end is going to outplay whatever tight end Justin throws out there twofold. The flex position, twofold. Like, I think he edges him, with Patrick Mahomes, Alvin Kamara.
James Robinson.
I don't know. James Robinson's questionable against the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know. I don't really give him the edge on that. And then Cam Akers. Those are the people I really think really he has the edge on. Everyone else, I think Rashawn kind of owns it, in my opinion. If Mike Davis can get into the end zone twice, right? And I don't know. I don't think it's as big of a blowout as you guys think it is. I think Rashawn might.
Oh, no, not a blowout.
No, a blowout. Yeah.
I mean, Brian, you did say Mike Davis should be started because y'all not tackling nobody. So there's that.
No, I understand, Justin. You're about to try to play the humble card. You don't want to do this, bro. It's written.
It's too late. It's too late for your humble card. You already said that you was going to win, so just keep playing your hand.
Oh, no, we could get the smoke because you can still thank me for getting here because I did give you those good players to begin with.
I definitely did thank you. But guess what? Yeah, we here now.
I definitely did thank
you. Yeah, man.
I definitely
so
did.
But at the end of the day, you could thank me too because your running back game was scary, was trash until I gave you James Robinson. So
yeah, man. I had the vision to initiate the trade. Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, y'all helped each other. Y'all helped each other get to this spot right here.
Listen, guess what?
It all led to this.
I'll be the 2008, 2012 Giants where everybody was going for the other team. It's fine. You could be the Patriots, go 16-0 and losing the chip, whatever. That's cool. I'm the underdog. I love being the underdog. So we come into play. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Let me add this. I think everyone should be actually, who's still in the playoffs should be voting for Rex because Justin might add a healthy Kittle next week on top to this team, and that would be quite something.
Yeah, we don't need that.
That would be quite something.
on this side,
it'll take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, on this side, Mahan and myself, we don't need none of that stress. So yeah, Rax, do what you got to do, bro. And I'm gonna try to handle mine, but my cousin trying to come for me in 2 leagues, so we'll see.
I'm trying to get an All Anthony championship.
He ain't coming home for Christmas either, so I gotta see his pump behind.
Well, folks, we want to thank you for joining us. As always, you know where to find us on Twitter at Indecision Cave, on Facebook, The Indecision Cave. You're probably watching on YouTube, but if not, subscribe to our page at The Indecision Cave. Like us, follow us, provide comments, provide feedback. We appreciate it. It's week 15. It's the semifinals. We got Rashawn really aggressive today. We got a family affair on one side. All the fireworks within The Indecision Cave. We'll see you next week.